everybody? It is Friday. We skipped a day for spoilers. It's me, your host, Ariel, and today is the last day for Innistrad. Trevor, you want to introduce yourself, even though...
Yeah, I'm Trevor. Um, we got some hot takes for the final spoilers. They were a little rushed, but we got them. And Innistrad Remastered comes out, and there's some preview events next weekend on the 17th.
Mhm.
But set comes out on the 24th, so we're ready.
And ready or not, let's rip through the last set of spoilers, because it has been an adventure of a week.
It sure has.
So a lot of the first couple slides that we're going to talk to you guys about is there is a handful of cards that got downshifted. And Trevor, I've been asking you a lot of questions about what that means.
Hmm.
Do you want to explain to the viewers kind of what that means? Because as a new MTG player, it may not mean anything to you. You may not even know that these have downshifted.
Yeah, so whenever they downshift, they think about how it's gonna work in the draft formats. They also consider the power creeps for um, how cards evolve over time.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you look at cards that were released in like 94, 95, you're going to see cards that aren't great, like Shivan Dragon versus now we have cards like Grief and Ragavan and just cards that are better than what they were. So we're seeing these downshifts because of how creep has just evolved over time.
Mm-hmm.
So these may not be the rare or uncommons that they were originally. So like in Prison of the Moon and Eldritch Moon was originally a rare. It got downshifted in Foundation to uncommon. And then Wizards probably saw it at uncommon and was just like, you know, it probably could be a common because it's good, but it's not as great as it was.
I personally love In Prison of the Moon.
You sure do.
So I was actually very excited to see this card get spoiled. I didn't realize it was a downshift. I don't play draft, so I don't really have a preference on the downshift. I'm just excited it's here again.
Yeah.
Do you want
Um,
to talk to any of these cards while we're here? We have a lot of
uh,
content to go through.
I was gonna say, I think the only, besides Imprison in the Moon, the only notable ones right here is Essence Flux because that one's actively being played in. It's being played right now. I'm pretty sure it's being played in Reanimator and Modern because they have Faithless Looting.
Mm-hmm.
So, just that, nothing crazy.
Okay. Let's move on to the next set of cards. These are also commons that got downshifted. Anything you want to talk to here?
I think that the Seize the Storm art is really cool.
That is really
Th-
cool art.
that's it. That's it.
I was gonna say for the viewers, today's probably gonna feel rushed. Believe it or not, we're kind of gassed, and it's first thing in the morning. So I these are reprints now, and after we've given so much commentary on all of the other episodes, we're kind of at the down ramp, and ultimately I want to leave a lot of time for us to do a recap of everything. So feel free to go onto MTG or go onto like Scryfall and Goldfish and stuff like that and take a moment to read these cards. But as people that are exhausted and thought we were getting more spoilers today,
Oh,
we're just kind of the
we're
last little
ready.
train trying to just crawl into the station. Uncommons that got downshifted. Um,
Yeah, so these were all rares originally. Um, I do like Killing Wave. I think that card is a hoot. It also got new art.
it is very cool. It's Lily,
It's
which is
yeah,
cool.
it's Liliana, and she's doing that like ninja fish. She's called Pachow.
Sure. um, yeah, I think it's very interesting how many cards we got that did shift down in rarity,
Hmm.
especially in this set. I figured it was gonna just be reprints, but lo and behold, it was reprints with a twist. Um,
Yeah. Well, I mean, whenever you add cards that weren't originally from Innistrad, you gotta find ways to cut down
the
the extra
Innistrads,
fat.
yeah.
Yeah.
Find a way for the Innistrad cards to feel relevant.
Yeah. Exactly.
Retro cards. I have a
Yeah.
love-hate relationship with these. As a player, I really like retro cards for my decks. I think they look really cool. I was not around in Magic for these to be considered like the norm. I think they're really pleasing to the eye. However, Um, there's going to be a lot of retros, and there are a couple cards, the Crater Hoof and the Avica. One day,
Avacyn.
Avacyn. I'll get her name right eventually. Um, those are only going to be found in retro slots, so there is a lot of bloat in the retro slots now that are from commons to uncommons. Again, you guys will see, and that is going to make pulling those other two high value cards extremely difficult,
Yep.
especially considering they will only be in the retro slot. Granted, there is one retro slot in each pack. I think both play and collector. Is that? Do you know? Is that right?
Yeah, there is one retro slot that will be non-foil and play boosters, and then they will have a retro slot in the collector boosters as well.
Yeah. So there is at least a slot guaranteed in each pack. However, again, as you guys will see, there's a lot of retro treatments.
There is.
Um yeah, I like two of these cards, the Karthus Crusade and the Karthus Commander. So cool to see them in retros. Other than that,
Yep.
I don't really have an opinion. I
Oh,
just like the treatment.
I like the Fiend Hunter. I like flickering my Fiend Hunter on the ETB so your stuff gets perma exiled.
Damn.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
We'll go into more retro whites. I really like the wedding announcement. As someone that sent out wedding invitations with my wedding invitations, the wedding announcement is super cute to see. And isn't it Edgar Lore, right?
Yes. So there, Edgar's not on the card, obviously,
No.
but that is for his wedding with Olivia.
Yeah, so stupid cute. I was really happy to see this card get reprinted just for me as a personal thing. Um, the Mentor of the Meek. I feel like he just got another recent reprint.
I think he did too.
I could be wrong. But retro treatment here nonetheless. And the Veteran I think is just really cool art. I really love that painterly style of artwork with the retro frame. It feels very gritty. I like the contrast in colors. I won't have an opinion today about effects and what the cards do.
No, you're good.
So
I think these were all fine to be reprinted. These will also come in normal art. All the cards will be in normal art, from my understanding, that were spoiled today.
going into retro blues, my Imprisoned in the Moon's getting a retro treatment, and I'm so excited and I want it.
Labman also is getting retro.
I think Labman already had a retro though. I'm pretty sure he did. I'm not 100% certain. Don't quote me on that, but I'm about 95% sure he did.
He might have, but it's getting another retro.
So he'll
He
be
did have
easier
a
to find.
retro. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Time Spiral Remastered. He was in the bonus sheet. Good job.
Check that shit out. But yeah, I think these all look fucking fire. I like the retro. Blue retro I think is my favorite retro. So nice ambulance. Somebody's dying.
Yeah.
They got
Did
imprisoned in the moon.
Did you hear it from my mic or did you just hear it outside?
I heard it from yours.
Oh yeah, no, they're happening.
Let's see. Some more blue retro foils. The Think Twice. I didn't Think Twice just get printed in fucking Foundations.
It did.
Why is it here?
Because it's originally an Innistrad card.
Doesn't matter. We just
No,
got
it's
it.
Innistrad. It's Innistrad. We're just throwing cards in a set.
Gross.
I do like the whole breaker horror.
I feel like he also had a retro treatment already.
Maybe.
And I don't like the accursed children inside the eyeballs of the memory.
No.
That's uncomfortable.
It's deluging the memory, though.
We need to burn it like the mystic next to it. Just burn all of that away. Let's see. Black retros. Yeah.
Collective Brutality is good. That card was a hoot in Standard. It was played in Modern for a while. Whenever it first came out, it was played in Legacy for a while, but power creep, not as good as it used to be.
Sure. Yeah. That didn't get a downshift, did it? It's still rare.
It is still rare.
Okay. We got some zombie stuff going on, which I think is cool because again, Innistrad things. I will say some of the cards that got spoiled, Yesterday and the day before definitely feel like Innistrad. However, the double standard of that is it feels very Crimson Vow, Midnight Hunt double feature. So
Yep.
these cards were only recently printed about a year ago. So if you've been around as long as I have, at least, which is not a lot of time in the MTG community, you've already kind of seen these. So it feels a little bit like a wash, rinse, repeat.
I think Crimson. I know that. I think Crimson Vows like.
Is it an older one?
I'm trying to figure out. I think it was.
I just see them
It
on
was.
the
It's been
shelves.
4 years.
Okay, so I see them on the shelves with next to Midnight Hunt, which I'm not quite sure how old that one is.
It came out about the same time. They were a block
So
together.
then when did Double Feature come out?
Double Feature came out a little bit afterwards because I think Double Feature came out. Uh, Innistrad
So
Double
to me,
Feature.
these feel like they've recently been shown, mainly because I think our buddy Tori, who was on the Tap Exile cast video, you guys will meet her soon in the near future. She pulled from Crimson Vow because she's a big vampire fan. So these cards are not old to me. These feel relatively new in the beginning of our Magic careers.
I was gonna say yeah, because uh, Double Feature came out in 2022, and I think
Mm-hmm.
that you started playing Magic what winter of 23? Because
Yeah. Yep.
yeah, so it's been about 2 3 years 4 years since those came out, but you can still actively buy them because the set didn't have a lot of traction because it wasn't that great. There wasn't that many bangers in there.
This one at least has some bangers.
Yeah.
Some. Moving on. We have a couple more black retros, the Village Rites, and the Morbid Opportunist, and the Infernal Grap, and the Tragic Slip. I know all four of these cards.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I need to find my tragic slip because I got it altered to have a banana peel under his foot.
Oh
So
my god,
he's
that's
it's
hilarious.
so good. I paid like $5 to have that banana peel drawn on.
I like the Village Rites, but I will always try and play my Village Rites from the Strixhaven box if I have an opportunity to
Mm,
play Village Rites. But this is really cool. It is giving me like um how do I say this appropriately? It's giving me cult vibes.
yep.
And with FIA joking about being a cult, we're not. But I think it's really entertaining. I want someone to have village rights at like our land stations and be like, when you understand the assignment.
Yes.
And we'll see the Infernal Grasp again in a little bit. So retro red cards, the Balefire Dragon. Our in-house dragon player, our editor, was like, "Did you see the dragon that got spoiled? It's really good." And I'm like, "No," and I really still don't know like what I want dragon wise. I just know I'm Billion Kalia, and then he showed me the art, and I was like, "Oh, that's one of the
He
cards I need for
he
Kalia."
has the good art though, so he has no room to talk.
I have no
Be-
idea what he has.
he has the Commander Masters full art foil that I pulled because I just gave it to him because I was just like, you can put this in your dragon deck. So he has that art, which is like,
I actually really like this art. I know it's not new art. I really like it because it reminds me of Red Eyes Black Dragon from Yu-Gi-Oh! So
oh,
not upset. Anything else you want to talk to here while we're on this page? Besides
um,
the really cool Seize the Storm art.
let's see. Oh, it is here. I was like, is it here?
It is
It
here.
is. Lightning Axe is still being played, so that's a good reprint. That's being played in the Pioneer Phoenix deck.
Cool.
Sorry, I had something in my eyes.
No, you're fine.
I think these cards are fine. Um, you see that Soulbound card on the end. Remember to respond to that Soulbound trigger because then they don't get the thing. Get rid of it before it's there.
The Epicure is good if you're playing a blood token deck too. It's one drop, one opponent loses one life, and you get a blood token. So if you're
That's
playing a
probably
blood deck,
it's also probably fine in an Edgar deck since it's a 1-drop vampire.
I think we cut it from my Edgar deck.
We probably did because I don't like the card as a whole. But if you're like
If you're
if you're buying
desperate,
this if you're buying this to get into
an Edgar
Commander and you're
commander,
like Edgar, yeah, this is
this
good
is fine.
1-drop. Yeah.
Yeah. Green retros.
Hot take. I don't think I like any of these in retro.
I
As someone
think
who has
when we
seen
get to
all of
the
them, it's good.
borderless, I think there's going to be a reason why we don't have a hot opinion or take on these.
Well,
They're there.
I've seen these in normal, and I think the normal art is just better. Like the abundant growth is the only one where I'm like, yeah, it's fine, but it's just eh.
I like I like the abundant growth, the grapple, and the rights. Kind of the Colossus too, but I think that other print treatments in this set are a lot better. But
Yeah,
I will never dog on a retro frame
no,
because the retro frame I feel like does it better with color than normal frames. I don't really like the white text box. I think the scroll like worn out text box is a lot better, and I like the color variants within the frames itself. So
that's
I
fair.
don't hate them. It's just I'm not wowed by it because I know that we're getting better treatment prints for them. So
Yeah,
moving on to another set, I do like the Scorn Villager in the retro. I don't think this is the first time it's been printed in retro. I think it has a retro treatment already.
maybe I'm not 100% sure on that one. Um, I do like the second artist. That one was a good reprint. I think that one needed a reprint because of how it's being played in multiple decks that care about tokens. Scorn Villager does not have another retro. This is its
Oh,
first one.
I thought it did.
Nope.
Just to show what I know.
It's only been printed in Dark Ascension.
It's good for if you are building a werewolf deck and you want a cheap werewolf drop.
Yeah, it's also a mana dork.
Yeah, so not bad. Other than that, don't really have a comment to have here. Um,
I think that the second Harvest retro is very good.
yeah, I think so as well. I was actually just looking at that and I was like, hot take. I really like that card. And
Hmm.
I like the retro.
Yeah, I think Traverse the Ulvenwald. It was played a lot whenever Standard was happening. It was played in Modern for a while because the Delirium thing wasn't super hard to get. But just like I said before, power creep is killing these older cards that used to be played like they were going out of business. Like Tarmogoyf used to be a house, and then it's just not as good as it was before.
Let's see. We have Borderless. And I really like these borderless cards. They're fucking hot. And there's a reason why I was like, I know the other treatments that are coming up, so I really don't have anything to say. I think these are all fucking gas. One that I do want to touch on is the Infernal Grasp, because we talked about it in one of our videos earlier in the week. You're like, oh, I thought it was his tongue. And we're like, no, it's a demon's finger. I love that you get to see it from a different perspective. Instead of the hands reaching out and grabbing him, you get to see what is grabbing him. And if you think about those two cards together, it kind of really paints a picture.
Mm-hmm.
And so I really, really like this card. I like that you can actually now see what it is that's grabbing him, which gives almost like a like paralysis nightmare kind of vibe where you're
Yeah,
having like an out of body experience, right? At first you're seeing it from one angle, and now you're seeing it from the other. And I feel like this is the part where you like wake up from your paralysis demon nightmare kind of excursion. So fucking sick. I also like a lot of the dark colors that are in it. I also like the Temporal Master. Just a gorgeous card in general. I don't really like it for the spell that it is. I think it'd be really cool for maybe like a time seize or something. Like just that's what the art calls to me.
mm-hmm.
I know you like the Lab Mac. I actually don't.
Oh, I think it's great.
Um, I like the original better.
Sure.
Um, the Zealous is really cool. Love that. The Abundant Growth is a fucking banger, as well as the Rights. And the Vexing puzzle, Devil is there too. I feel like it's something that I've already seen before.
Yeah,
Um,
that's fair. I keep looking at the Infernal Grass, and I'm just imagining like a bad horror movie where you're
mhm.
just walking through and you're talking to your buddy, and then he's like, "Oh," and then you just look back, and he's just being pulled away, and then it fades into black, and then you just see the dude running, and you're like, "Oh no, we lost Joan,"
Yeah.
and it's just I'm thinking of the bad horror movies that it could be from. Um,
Uh, the Inferno Grasp, the only thing I have that I think would be better is there's a hand that is grabbing a rock instead of grabbing the so the hand on grabbing the arm, I would have preferred it to really be like up instead of kind of relaxed. And then it would have been really cool, the hand that's grabbing the rock, for there to be like claw marks where he's like actually grasping it and being dragged.
Mm,
But I have a picture downstairs, I think in my dining room, that's from Bloodborne, of the hunter having like a switch axe thing underneath his neck, and it looks like he's about to have his head cut off. And the amount of emotions that is captured within the hunter's face is really, really good. And I think that the emotions caught in the person being dragged away is fucking banger. So that's kind of what this art reminds me of.
hell yeah.
But yeah, any other? Sorry, I like totally swept out because I'm really jazzed about this card. Any other opinions on some of these full arts?
Not on the full art, but on the card as a whole. I'm gonna be picking up some temporal masteries, and we're gonna slam them into some commander decks to take some extra turns.
Yeah.
Might do something with some brainstorms or some skull rack effects to make it to where I can just make sure it goes on the top, so I get that 2 mana extra turn spell. It's gonna be hot.
I have to say, the only card that feels like a flop here is the Collective Brutality. Hot take, I don't like it.
The
I
art,
know it's supposed to be werewolves. These kind of look like Jamaican werecats.
I don't even think they look like they have fur. I think they remind me of the goblins from Shadowmoor Lorwyn block.
Sure.
Um,
They're just giving like Jackal, or like I said, like a Johnny like cat person, and they're not giving me a werewolf, and I think they're supposed to be werewolves.
I think they are too. I just don't think that they look like werewolves either.
Yeah. That's my only thing that I think was kind of a flop here.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think I also would have preferred the Abundant Growth to be like at nighttime with like a moonlight instead of it looks like it's in like sunset and golden hour. That's my
Oh,
only other
I
hot
like
take.
that. I like how it looks.
That's my only other opinion. And I think the next slide is what everybody was waiting for and why we decided to record our episode 4. Episode 4. I'm like, where are
Is
we
it
at?
4 or 5?
It's 4. We're on 5 right now. It's the
Oh,
movie
okay.
posters. We finally got the last one. It was Carther's Crusade. It was not the Cavern of Souls like we were hoping. Womp womp.
Womp womp.
For anybody that's
Indeed.
curious what alt 10 cards look like, they do look like this. Know that Edgar Markov is the serialized one. He is the original that started it all. He is probably the weakest of the bunch within the set. And the reason why we have him off into oblivion is because I think we were talking about he will not be in the movie poster slot. Was that?
No, he's only gonna be in collector.
Yeah.
And then, like we were saying in Wednesday's video, last video, you only have a 10% chance to get a movie poster, so you realistically have that 1% chance of getting the one you want. Unless you want the Edgar, then you have less than 1% chance of getting it because there's only 500 of them.
Yep. So, but yeah, I think all of the movie posters were really, really good. If Edgar Markov is the one that is the weakest link in the bunch, I am oddly satisfied with that. Overall, I think they're fucking gorgeous.
Can I get you to rank these from worst to best art?
From worst art to best art.
Edgar can be a part of it, or if you just want to do the 10 that you can open out of just in that fun slot.
I'm going to have some hot fucking takes here. Best art. I think. Fuck. That's really hard.
I'm asking you the hard question.
It's really hard. Best art off rip. I think I'm gonna rank it in what I think is truest to a movie poster. How about that?
Sure.
Truest to a movie poster, ranking best. I'm gonna actually have a hot opinion. I think Through the Breach is the one that was the most successful in looking like a movie poster for a horror film. I think they did a very good job with the Emmercool. I think that the proportion with the person down below, I think it's Chandra possibly down there, or some sort of person that's a firecaster. Seeing the perspective and probably how hopeless they feel down below against the Emmercool as the sea is parting and he is emerging, I think that was honestly the most successful for a movie poster.
Sure.
I would say the next one that is great for a movie horror poster, I would say the for movie horror, I'm gonna say the Get Rog next. And I'm thinking like back in the day where like we had like the Blob and the
Yeah.
creature from the Black Lagoon. I could see these posters being actual posters for horror movies. So I think Through the Breach and then the Get Rog monster were going to be probably 1 and 2 for truest to a movie horror picture. I think after that, I think the Emmercool is probably number 3. I would say the Meat Hook Massacre for number 4. Um, Number 5 is going to be, I think, the Cathars Crusade, followed by the Gristlebrand, the Av
Avison.
the Avicen, followed by the Olivia, into the Captivating Vampire, with Edgar Markov being the last one. I don't. Now that is not my favorite lineup for art. I feel very differently. Oh, and I forgot the Hermit Druid. The Hermit Druid goes in. Um, I think the Hermit Druid goes in after Gristlebrand, so before Captivating. Because honestly, Captivating Vampire looks like it's a romance rather than a horror. Um,
Sure.
But yeah, that is what I would rank them in order for what feels truest to a horror movie poster. Not by my favorite art, not by my favorite card. I just think that was probably the ones that nailed those down the best. Mainly
Sure.
because the Olivia seems like it's like a movie documentary about her and her Lady Gaga life. And the Avison, I feel like it's not a horror film. It's more of like a heroine sort of movie about her
Mm-hmm.
and going through like a perspective of her coming out of like maybe hell or something like that, or the
Sure.
demonic world, and she's bringing life back to it. So it doesn't really feel horror. It feels like a good movie, and I love the art. That's my favorite art. But I don't think it gives horror movie vibes. So what I would like to talk about before we go to the set of spoilers that we got today, that is not Innistrad remaster related. Innistrad is over. It is the finale. We've gone through a roller coaster, I feel like, of spoilers.
Yep.
Now that they are all set out into the ether, what would be your opinion that you would give to a person looking at Innistrad remastered? What is your final thoughts?
I think that if you're not looking to just pop packs and you're looking for specific cards, I think buying the singles is what you want to do. I think that the set overall, I give it like a 6 out of 10. I don't think it was great. I don't think it was awful. It's pretty middle of the road, but it's not quite average for like that 7 out of 10. It gets a D in class. Um which in college still passes, or it doesn't pass in college, but in high school it's fine.
Sure.
Um I just think it's not ideal, it's not great, but it's there. Like there's some good reprints, but the way that they did this remastered set is really awkward.
So to pony back onto my question, do you think if booster boxes and collector boxes were at a lower dollar figure, do you think that this would be better?
Yeah, I 100% think so. I think that if this was like 150 for a play booster box, and then 150, 165 for a play booster box, and then like 250 for a collector box,
Mm-hmm.
reasonable. But 200 plus for
A
pre-order
play.
for a play booster, and then 300 plus for pre-order for a collector booster. The numbers are just insane.
Yeah.
It's not worth what the box is, and I think that once in a couple weeks once the set goes out, I'm going to look at what the pack like ratio is for dollar figure wise,
Mm-hmm.
and then from there go and be like, okay, well, this and this pack is going to probably be about $5-6 whenever they're charging like 13-14 for a pack.
Yeah. I think if these were price set, so in my opinion, was this set a flop? I don't think so. Do I think it rated a D? No, I think it rated right on average with Ravnica Remastered, to be quite
Oh,
frank. Because there's no denying there are some good cards in this set. It's just a matter of where it is ranking in rarity, and we're not going to talk about the chance of pulling it. But there are some high value cards in here that can't be ignored.
yeah,
And I felt that way with Ravnica Remaster as well. I did buy a box of Ravnica Remastered. I felt like there was better commons and uncommons. I think the reason why you and I are looking at this and going, the commons and the uncommons are there, is because we already play with these cards. So getting them as a reprint really doesn't, like, we're not pulling them to try and get these cards. We already play these cards. We have these cards.
sure.
So I feel like there's a biased opinion there. I feel like the best thing this set has going for them is literally what is on the screen right now. I think the movie
Hmm.
posters is what is really making it worth getting the set. That's my honest opinion of it. The Crater Hoof is nice too, but again, it's already been reprinted a couple times. You can get it pretty much anywhere. I think the art was the real banger though, and so the 10 movie posters I think is great to go into a collector's pack. I don't think the collector's pack are worth it. I think the dollar figure for this set should be at what the Ravnica Remastered was at. I really
Yep.
don't understand the inflation and the bloating. I know that everyone's like, oh, inflation everywhere and it's 2025. And what makes me concerned is I am scared that if this is what the remaster set is going for in 2025, I'm worried that we're going to see an inflation in price in other sets as well that are not
Yep.
remastered. I am worried to see what the dollar figures for Aether Drift is. I don't know if Wizards is trying to, well, Hasbro is trying to line their pockets with even more money. I don't think that's right, and I don't think that's fair. Um,
Oh, I have some hot takes on Aether Drift.
well, hold on.
No, no, I know. I
uh,
was saying not even the cards or the set, just wizards on that point. But we'll
um,
we'll get on that in another video.
for sure. Overall, though, I will probably be pulling packs because of the movie poster cards for no other reasons, depending on what single packs go for. For collectors, I am
Yep.
not surfing for the serialized cards. I don't think I will probably be pulling play. If there's anything in the lower where I'm looking for a specific card that is not a movie poster, I will probably be buying singles, which was very unfortunate because when I found out that we were going back to Innistrad about the time that Duskmorn was spoiled, I was guaranteed going to be buying not one box, but at least two, probably one collector's and one play. But I don't think the dollar figure is justified here. I also really don't appreciate the way that this spoiler was handled. I think it was really rushed. I think it was really last minute. I think it was not great for consumers as a whole. I don't like the strategy that was taken into this. It put, I think, shops also in a weird bind because they didn't have anything to try and push sales. I know that they were talking about MSRP, and it's putting
Hmm.
shops in an interesting position because they also need to make a profit in a way too. But I know that Guardian in particular was having a really hard time trying to figure out exactly where they were going to land on pricing boxes. And I don't think that's fair for card shops personally. So
No,
overall, if this is what 2025 is looking to be as far as spoilers and prices and how they're going to go about pushing pre-orders, I think it might blow up in their face.
I think so. I think that they'll realize that it's just gonna hurt them in the long run. Um, but they'll learn the hard way. They're testing something out, and it's not gonna work in their favor.
There you go.
I
We
can
got
talk
there.
sometimes. Yeah, full circle. But I don't think it's just gonna bite them, and it's gonna suck, and they're gonna be like, oh wow, 2025, we're down, we're in the red for the printings. This isn't good.
Yeah.
Unless Final Fantasy is some just straight gas.
I think Final Fantasy is going to be fucking hot. I really don't want to talk to it quite yet, but I think it's going to be fucking hot. And I think maybe that's why Innistrad seems really mid, is because they're putting a lot of effort into other sets. I'm going to hope that that is the case. And if the art was really good here, I hope the art's really good in Final Fantasy. I don't know why it wouldn't be.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk to Final Fantasy. I don't want to talk to Aether Drift. I'm very excited we didn't have any spoilers for Aether Drift. However, we
Same.
did wake up to some spoilers, and it was in regards to Secret Lair lands. I don't want to talk about Secret Lairs. We all know very strongly how people feel about Secret Lairs, the dollar figure that goes into it, the ability to be able to grab them. However, there was something that hit my radar, and I could not leave it alone. Ladies and gentlemen, the secret art failure of Welcome to Cooter Coast. Wizards, I can't believe you're printing this. How did you look at this and not go, oh my god, it's a vagina?
You know, they got little mushrooms in the back too. 10 out of 10.
This looks like a woman's leg spread, the sun cresting over her legs as it's holy, and there is the holy grail of the freaking bean, and just
Wizards are just trying to help
Wizards.
their male audience out. They're just trying to help them out because they're on that quest, and they're just trying to give you a little hint, and the quest is still rough.
I don't even remember. I saw this first thing this morning when I woke up because I saw that our Discord had a ping, and I was like, part of me was like, surely this is for like LGBTQ. No, surely this is for LGBTQ. Surely this is for like a women's empowerment thing. I don't even know what this set is called. The other lands were kind of mid in my opinion, but oh my god, I can't believe we're printing this.
Well, that's kind of cool. So it's called Secret Lair Chaos Vault lands. Each will be sold individually in secret layers of 10 copies of the same land.
Yeah.
So I didn't realize that.
Oh, yeah, because you had an opinion about how we're paying $40 for 5 cards, and I was going to correct you, but I didn't bother because I wasn't going to touch on that. Yeah, you can get the lands, and you get 10 copies. It's a vagina. Plain and simple. That's where I'm going to leave this. I will not give any other opinions on it. If I see someone running these lands in the friend group, it's going to be for the lols.
Oh.
Other than that, I don't have anything. Guys, thank you for staying with us while we go through all of Innistrad. We apologize that this was not on the date that we said, but we were fucking exhausted.
We were gassed.
And we were honestly thinking that there was going to be spoilers for Aether Drift today, so we were going to try and double whammy them into one go, so that way we were right on top of Aether Drift as well. However, that was not the case. It ended up being a lore video, which is a blessing in and of itself.
Yep.
We will see you guys in future videos. It will probably be a backlog. It will not be spoilers. I would like a break from spoilers for a little bit, but Aether Drift is just around the corner.
It sure is.
I will touch one thing about Aether Drift, and it was, haha, we talked about this. Look at what they printed. Things that Trevor and I said we're going to see in Aether Drift before, these spoilers that happened in a video yesterday that was just showcasing some of the art. My hot take opinion was there better be at least one Hot Wheels loop-de-loop in the background of one of these cards. And we got one.
We got one, and then I was just like, we better get the classic Akira art where you got the red bike going sideways.
With somebody
else.
Yeah, it's a shot from over the shoulder so you see their back like they're walking to it.
I didn't send you a video because I wasn't sure how gassed you were yesterday. We got more art where it is literally the fucking red bike on the side. Well, I'll send you the video. But
oh, good.
Yeah. And this is all I'm going to say about Aether Revolt. There is edging in this set with a new mechanic.
We're 2025. We're playing Cooter Coast and we're edging in fucking Aether Drift. On that note, guys, I hope you have an awesome weekend. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you in other videos.
All right,
bye.
guys.